Commander Han Jaiwu walked through the massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber. Her boots made soft sounds on the floor that seemed to glow with its own light. Behind her, Chief Engineer Park Miho carried a data tablet. His face showed nothing but his hands gripped the device tightly. The chamber was enormous. Hundreds of alien species sat in curved rows that rose up like a giant amphitheater. Some had scales that shimmered like oil on water. Others were made of living crystal that hummed with inner light. A few existed as clouds of glowing gas contained in transparent suits. At the center of it all sat Council Leader Vorash. His body was formed from blue crystal, and when he spoke, his voice echoed like wind through caves. Humans of Earth, Vorash began. You have been part of our galactic community for only one solar cycle. Today we honor your species with a gift. Jaiwu felt her heart beat faster. A gift from the Council could change everything for Earth. New energy technology. Faster-than-light engines. Medical advances that could save billions. Vorash raised one crystalline arm. Behind him, a massive screen flickered to life. It showed 3 cargo containers floating in space outside the station. We present to you the building blocks of knowledge, Vorash said. The other delegates began to make sounds. The Valorians created musical tones that might have been laughter. The Aerothians crackled like static on old radios. Even the stone-faced Krell delegates seemed to shift in what looked like amusement. Lieutenant Choi Era stood beside Jaiwu. She leaned close and whispered, "Commander, those containers, they look damaged." Jaiwu saw it too. The containers were old, covered in blast marks and radiation scoring. They were not new cargo pods. They were salvage boxes used for collecting battlefield debris. Inside these containers, Vorash continued, you will find components from various spacecraft. Some Valerian. Some Zektar. Some Aerothian. All of them are no longer in service. We believe they will provide adequate study material for your primitive engineers. The word primitive hit Jaiwu like a physical blow. Around the chamber, more sounds of alien laughter echoed. Park Miho stepped forward. May I ask the age of these components, Council Leader? Vorash's crystal body pulsed with light. The newest piece is approximately 200 of your Earth years old. The oldest is nearly 500. But for a species that only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 years ago, they should prove educational. 200 years old. Earth was receiving alien garbage. A tall Valerian delegate stood. Her skin glowed with soft purple light. Perhaps when your species learns to properly weld 2 pieces of metal together, you can return and ask for more recent technology. Her words were smooth, almost kind, but the insult underneath was clear. More laughter filled the chamber. Jaiwu felt Lieutenant Choi tense beside her. She felt Park Miho's anger through the space between them. But she kept her face calm. She had learned this skill during her years in Earth's diplomatic corps. Never show weakness. Never give them the satisfaction. The Council is most generous, Jaiwu said. Her voice was steady and clear. We accept this gift with gratitude. Earth will make good use of these materials. Vorash seemed almost disappointed that she did not argue. Very well. The containers will be transferred to your vessel. You are dismissed. The 3 humans bowed and turned to leave. Behind them, the chamber filled with conversation. Jaiwu heard fragments in languages she understood. They actually took it. So polite for such a young species. Give them another century. They will still be playing with those scraps. Outside the chamber, in the quiet corridor, Lieutenant Choi finally spoke. Commander, that was humiliation. They gave us trash and called it a gift. Yes, Jaiwu replied. They did. Park Miho looked at his tablet, then at his commander. What do we do? Jaiwu smiled for the first time that day. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had just been challenged. We show them what humans can do with trash. 6 months had passed since the Council's insult. Armstrong Station orbited Earth like a massive steel ring. Inside Hangar Bay 7, the 3 cargo containers sat open like dissected animals. Park Miho stood on a metal platform, looking down at the organized chaos below. Engineers in white suits moved between sorted piles of alien technology. Welding sparks flew like tiny stars. The air smelled of hot metal and recycled oxygen. Show me what you found, Commander Han Jaiwu said as she climbed onto the platform beside him. Park Miho pointed to the nearest pile. That is Valerian hull plating. 500 years old, full of microfractures. The Council probably thought it was worthless. And is it? Jaiwu asked. No. Park Miho's eyes brightened. Dr. Kim Suna discovered something. The Valorians use a bonding technique we never imagined. When we applied heat at exactly 3,847 degrees, the fractures healed themselves. The material became stronger than when it was new. He walked along the platform pointing to different sections. There, that damaged fusion core. It came from a Zektar mining vessel. Lieutenant Lee Juno figured out it was not broken. It was just built for a different fuel type. We modified it to run on our deuterium-tritium mix. Now it produces 40% more power than our best Earth reactors. Jaiwa felt hope rising in her chest. What else? Everything, Park Miho said simply. The Aerothian phase shift generator everyone said was burned out? Engineer Nam Hyun-soo realized it was not burned out. It was just in sleep mode. We woke it up. The Krell weapon systems we thought were scrap? They fire kinetic rounds, not energy. We already know kinetics. We have been using bullets for centuries. Down on the hangar floor, Dr. Kim Suno worked at a massive computer console. She was young, barely 30, with short black hair and eyes that never seemed to stop moving. She noticed Jaiwa watching and waved them down. "Commander, you need to see this," Suna said excitedly. On her screen, complex mathematical equations scrolled past. Jaiwa could not understand most of it, but she recognized weapon efficiency charts. "I connected the Zektar crystalline computer core to our quantum processor," Suna explained. "Alone each system is good. Together they are incredible. The crystal thinks in patterns. Our quantum processor thinks in probabilities. Combined, they predict enemy movements before the enemy knows what they will do." "How accurate?" Jaiwo asked. "In simulations? 94%. Park Miho smiled. "There is more. Come." They walked through the hangar to where a ship was taking shape. It did not look beautiful. The hull was a patchwork of different materials and colors. Valerian silver next to Zektar black next to human gray. Weapons protruded at odd angles. The engines were asymmetric, one larger than the other. It looked like exactly what it was, something built from scraps. "We call it Phoenix," Park Miho said quietly. "Built from the ashes of what others threw away." Lieutenant Lee Juno jogged over. He was covered in grease and smiling widely. "Commander, the railgun tests were successful. We used Valerian energy couplings to boost the magnetic acceleration. Our projectiles now move at 0.4 light speed. That is faster than most energy weapons," Jaiwa said. "Exactly. And shields in the galaxy are designed to stop energy, not kinetic rounds moving that fast." Jaiwa walked around the ship slowly. She touched the mismatched hull, felt the vibration of power running through it. "Will it fly?" "It will do more than fly," Park Miho promised. "Every species in the galaxy builds ships one way. Symmetrical. Efficient. Predictable. Phoenix is none of those things. It breaks every rule in their engineering books." "Because we do not have their engineering books," Jaiwa said. "Because we do not need them," Park Miho corrected. "We have something better. We have necessity. We have anger. We have the need to prove them wrong." Engineer Nam Hyun-soo called out from the engine section. "Commander, we are ready for the first power-up test." Jaiwa looked at her team. Tired faces. Determined eyes. 6 months of 16-hour days. 6 months of refusing to quit. "Do it," she ordered. The lights dimmed as Phoenix drew power. The fusion core hummed to life. Energy flowed through Valerian couplings into human systems into Zektar computers. The ship vibrated, then steadied. Every screen turned green. Phoenix lived. 9 months after the Council's insult, Phoenix moved through deep space like a predator testing new muscles. Commander Han Jaiwu sat in the captain's chair, watching stars slide past the main view screen. "How does she handle?" Jaiwu asked. First Officer Kong Minji checked her console. "Like nothing I have ever flown before. The asymmetric engines should make her spin in circles. Instead, they give us turning speed that would make a fighter pilot jealous." Lieutenant Choi Era worked the weapons station. "All systems green, Commander. Railguns charged. Missile tubes loaded. Phase shift generator ready." "Keep running drills," Jaiwu ordered. "I want everyone perfect before we head back to Earth." The bridge crew had trained for 3 weeks in deep space. Away from prying eyes. Away from curious alien sensors. Phoenix still looked like assembled garbage from the outside. That was intentional. Let them keep thinking humans were primitive. Suddenly, the communications console beeped urgently. "Commander," said Communications Officer Song De-hee. "I am picking up a distress signal. Valerian frequencies." Jaiwu sat forward. "Location. 4 light hours from our position. The message is automated, repeating every 30 seconds." De-hee pressed a button. A voice filled the bridge, speaking in the musical Valerian language. The computer translated immediately. This is Science Vessel Lumina. Under attack by Karthak raiders. 3 warships. Shields failing. Please help. Coordinates follow. Silence filled the bridge. The Karthak were pirates who terrorized the outer colonies. They attacked science vessels, cargo ships, anything that could not fight back. The Galactic Council had been trying to stop them for years. Without success. Commander, Kong Minji said quietly. That is Captain Zelnina's ship. She was at the council chamber when they gave us the scrap. She laughed. Jaiwa remembered. A tall Valerian with purple skin and a cruel smile. She had called humans primitive children. How long to reach them? Jaiwa asked. Park Miho checked the engineering console. At maximum speed using the modified Aerothian drive 2 hours. Any council ships closer? Song Dehi shook her head. The nearest patrol is 6 hours away. Lumina does not have 6 hours. Lieutenant Choi Era turned in her chair. Commander, we are not obligated to help. They mocked us. Gave us garbage. Called us primitives. Jaiwa stood. She walked to the view screen and stared at the stars. She thought about Zelnina's laughter. She thought about Vorash's condescending smile. She thought about every insult Earth had swallowed. Then she thought about who she wanted humans to be. We are better than they are, Jaiwa said. That is the point. Set course for those coordinates. Maximum speed. Yes, Commander, Kong Minji said, her fingers flying across her console. Phoenix turned. The modified Aerothian drive engaged with a sound like tearing fabric. Space twisted. The ship accelerated to speeds that should have crushed the crew, but the Zektar inertial dampeners held. 2 hours became 90 minutes. Approaching the coordinates, Kong Minji announced. Dropping to sublight. The view screen showed carnage. Science vessel Lumina hung in space, her shields flickering and failing. Burn marks covered her hull. Around her, 3 Karthak warships circled like sharks around wounded prey. They were ugly ships, built from stolen technology and scavenged weapons. They have not seen us yet, Lieutenant Choi said. We came in behind the local star. Our heat signature is masked. Good, Jaiwa said. Let us keep it that way. What are we looking at? Park Miho studied his sensors. The Karthak ships are older Krell military vessels. Heavy armor. Energy shields. Plasma cannons. Each one is twice our size. Can we win? Jaiwo asked simply. Park Miho smiled. It was not a nice smile. They have never fought a ship like Phoenix. They expect energy weapons. They expect predictable tactics. They expect rules. And we do not follow their rules, Jaiwo finished. She sat back in her chair. All hands to battle stations. Charge all weapons. Prepare phase shift generator. Alarms blared softly throughout the ship. In engineering, in the weapons bay, in every corridor, humans prepared for war. Open a channel to Lumina, Jaiwo ordered. Song Dehi worked her console. Channel open, Commander. Science vessel Lumina, this is Phoenix. Hold on. Help is here. On the view screen, she saw the Karthak ships notice her transmission. She saw them turn toward Phoenix. She saw their weapons begin to charge. She saw them look at Phoenix's mismatched hull and assume an easy victory. Lieutenant Choi, Jaiwo said calmly. Show them what humans built from their trash. The Karthak warships stopped circling Lumina. All 3 turned to face Phoenix. On the view screen, Jaiwo could see their hulls covered in weapons and armor plating stolen from a dozen different species. Incoming transmission, Song Dehi said. They are laughing at us, Commander. Let them laugh, Jaiwo replied. Kong Minji, evasive pattern delta. Keep us moving. Phoenix lurched forward. The asymmetric engines made the ship dance in ways no standard vessel could match. Left, right, up, spinning, never staying in one place. The first Karthak ship fired. Bright green plasma bolts streaked through space where Phoenix had been a second before. Their targeting computers cannot keep up, Kong Minji said with satisfaction. We are too unpredictable. Lieutenant Choi returned fire, Jaiwo ordered. Railguns only. Let us see what they do. Choi Era pressed her controls. Phoenix's railguns fired with a sound like thunder. Solid metal slugs, accelerated to incredible speed by Valorian-enhanced magnetics, shot through space. The Karthak ship's shields flared. Then collapsed. The slugs punched through the hull like paper. Atmosphere vented in white clouds. The ship listed to one side, already crippled. Impossible, Park Miho muttered, checking his sensors. One volley. Their shields were designed for energy weapons, not kinetic impact at that velocity. The other two Kaerthak ships opened fire together. Plasma bolts filled the space around Phoenix. Activating phase shift, Park Miho called out. The Aerothian generator hummed. Phoenix seemed to flicker. Suddenly there were 3 images of the ship, each one slightly transparent, moving in different directions. The Kaerthak weapons fire passed through 2 ghost images and missed the real Phoenix entirely. They cannot tell which one is real, Choi Era said. Because their sensors have never seen this technology used this way, Park Miho explained. We modified it. Now it does not just shift us slightly out of phase. It creates phantom echoes. The second Kaerthak ship closed in, trying to get a better angle. Big mistake. Missiles away, Choi Era announced. 6 missiles launched from Phoenix's tubes. But these were not standard missiles. Human engineers had wrapped them in Valerian stealth coating and given them Zektar guidance systems. The Kaerthak ship tried to shoot them down. Managed to destroy 2. The other 4 slammed into the engine section. Explosions rippled along the Kaerthak hull. The ship went dark. 2 down, Kang Minji said. 1 to go. The third Kaerthak captain was smarter. Or more desperate. His ship dove toward Lumina, putting the science vessel between himself and Phoenix. He is using them as a shield, Jaiwa said. Clever. We cannot fire without risking Lumina, Choi Era confirmed. Jaiwa thought fast. Park Miho, can we use the phase shift to move closer? How close? Point blank. Park Miho's eyes widened. Commander, that is insane. If we phase back into normal space while overlapping another object. Can you do it? Jaiwo interrupted. Park Miho worked his console frantically. Maybe. If I time it perfectly. If the Zektar computer calculates the exact moment. If everything works exactly right. Good enough. Do it. Phoenix flickered again. This time the ship did not create copies. It simply vanished. On Lumina's bridge, Captain Zelnina watched in confusion as the human ship disappeared. The Kaerthak warship began charging weapons, preparing to finish her vessel. Then Phoenix appeared. Not in front of the Kaerthak ship. Not behind it. Beside it. So close their hulls almost touched. Fire everything, Jaiwo ordered. At point-blank range, Phoenix unleashed every weapon. Railguns. Missiles. Even the old Krell kinetic cannons they had salvaged and repaired. The Kaerthak ship had no time to raise shields, no time to evade. Metal tore. Hull plates shattered. The Kaerthak warship broke apart in slow motion, pieces tumbling through space. Silence filled Phoenix's bridge. All enemy vessels destroyed or disabled, Choi Era reported, her voice shaking slightly. Lumina is safe. Time from first shot to last? Jaiwo asked. Kang Minji checked. 18 minutes, Commander. 18 minutes. 3 Kaerthak warships that had terrorized the galaxy for years. Gone. Open a channel to Lumina, Jaiwo said. Captain Zelnina's face appeared on screen. Her purple skin had gone pale. Her eyes were wide with disbelief. That ship, Zelnina whispered. That is impossible. We gave you scrap. Garbage. How did you? Jaiwo smiled. It was not a warm smile. You gave us a challenge, Captain. Humans love challenges. 2 weeks after the battle, Commander Han Jaiwo stood once again in the Galactic Council chamber. This time, Phoenix waited just outside the station, visible through the massive windows. Its mismatched hull gleamed in the station's lights. The chamber was completely silent. Council leader Vorash sat in his usual place, but his crystalline body no longer pulsed with confident light. Beside him, Captain Zelnina stood as a witness. She had insisted on coming, had insisted on telling her story. 3 Kaerthak warships, Vorash said slowly. Destroyed in 18 minutes. 17 minutes and 42 seconds, Jaiwo corrected. To be precise. Murmurs filled the chamber. The Valerian delegates leaned forward. The Aerothians crackled with what might have been concern. Even the stone-faced Krell shifted in their seats. A tall Zektar delegate stood. His crystalline form reflected rainbow colors. Council leader, I request permission to inspect this vessel. Humans must have stolen advanced technology. There is no other explanation. Permission granted, Vorash said. In fact, I insist upon it. For the next 6 hours, alien engineers swarmed over Phoenix. They scanned every system, examined every weapon, traced every power coupling. Park Miho followed them, answering every question with perfect honesty. Commander Jaiwu waited in the council chamber with Lieutenant Choi Era and Kang Minji. They drank recycled coffee from Earth and said nothing. Finally, the engineering teams returned. The Zektar chief engineer approached the council. He looked confused, almost angry. Well? Vorash demanded. What did they steal? Nothing, the engineer said flatly. Every component came from the scrap we gave them. The Valerian hull plating, the Zektar computer core, the Erothian phase generator, the Krell kinetic weapons. All of it is ours. Discarded. Broken. Then how? They fixed it, the engineer interrupted. They combined it. They improved it. They did things with our technology that we never imagined possible. He turned to look at Jaiwo. They welded materials we thought could not be welded. They powered systems we thought were incompatible. They broke every rule of proper engineering. And it works, Jaiwo said simply. It works better than it should, the engineer admitted. Your railguns fire faster than our energy weapons. Your shields adapt in ways our static shields cannot. Your computer predicts movements with 94% accuracy. And you built it all from garbage in 9 months. The chamber erupted in noise. Delegates arguing. Some angry. Some excited. Some afraid. Vorash raised his arms for silence. When the chamber quieted, he looked directly at Jaiwo. You have proven your point, Commander. Humanity is not primitive. We were wrong to mock you. Yes, Jaiwo said. You were. A Valerian delegate stood. She glowed with soft blue light. The Valerian Empire wishes to propose a formal alliance with Earth. We would like to exchange knowledge, share technology. No, Jaiwo said. The chamber went silent again. No, the Valerian repeated. You had the chance to share technology, Jaiwo explained. You chose to give us scrap and laugh at us instead. Now we have something you want. That changes the negotiation. Vorash leaned forward. What do you want, Commander? Jaiwo smiled. Respect. Real membership in this council, not token membership. Access to trade routes. Defense treaties. The same things you give to species you actually respect. And in return? Vorash asked. We will share what we learned. How to combine technologies. How to think differently. How to build better ships. Jaiwo paused. But on our terms. As equals. Not as children begging for scraps. Captain Zelnina stepped forward. I wish to speak. Vorash nodded permission. I laughed at the humans. I called them primitive. I was there when we gave them garbage and expected them to fail. She turned to face the council. I was wrong. I volunteered to serve as liaison between Valoria and Earth. To learn from them. To make amends. Other delegates began standing. The Erothians. The Krell. Even the Zektar. Each one offering alliances, treaties, cooperation. Jaiwo watched them scramble over themselves. These same beings who had mocked Earth now desperate for human friendship. We will consider all offers, Jaiwo said. In time. For now, Phoenix has other duties. There are still Karthak raiders in the outer colonies. Someone should stop them. She turned and walked toward the exit. Her crew followed. Behind her, Vorash called out. Commander Jaiwo. One question. What will you do with your next ship? Jaiwo stopped. Looked back. Smiled. Build it from scratch. Phoenix departed the station an hour later. Behind it, 6 other human ships waited, each one built from the lessons Phoenix had taught. Earth's new fleet. Built not from generosity or gifts, but from determination and recycled dreams. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Never underestimate a species that could turn trash into triumph. Never underestimate humanity.